All right. All right, you guys. Here I am. I'm back again, and this is live. I have been working all day on trying to figure this out, and I actually took a break because I was so overwhelmed, so frustrated. I started to cry. I started getting anxious, and I just said I need to take a break. I did upload the live video that I did earlier, but when I went back to hear it, it just didn't sound right. And so I ended up taking it down and I took a break and then I came back to it and I was playing with it more. You guys, let me tell you what I disconnected everything, every cable, my monitor, my computer, my camera, my microphone. I disconnected it all, you guys. And I said, okay, let me start fresh. Let me see what's the problem. I got my computer going, I got my monitor going, and but I did not connect my camera or my microphone. Instead, what I did is I went to YouTube and just started watching videos on how to connect, the right way the camera, although the camera was working, but my mixer and my microphone. And I started working on it, and then all of a sudden, the mixer microphone bundle that I have, I was talking, I went back, I played, and there was just no sound whatsoever. So I was so frustrated. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, hello. And I was sitting here and I was just testing different ways of doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden, you guys, which is crazy because I really didn't even think about it. But my 16-year-old walked in the room and she's like, "What are you doing, mom?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to figure this out. I can't do it. Not that I can't do it. I just don't know how to. I'm trying my best, but my best just doesn't seem good enough." And she's like, "Well, what's going on?" And so I explained to her, and she started naming me all these other apps that I can use, but I'm just like, I'm not using any of those. I want it simple, easy and simple for a 45-year-old woman who doesn't understand technology. So, but she was talking, she was just blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that's too much. Just keep it sweet and short and simple. So she started looking through her phone, and here I am, through her and through me. I learned in that moment to just sit back and just let her do what she needed to do. She did, and then she showed me, which was such an amazing feeling to be able to just sit back, take a little break. She did it all, but then she showed me, and I actually think that I have this, for what I have to work with right now with this type of camera and this type of microphone mixer bundle. So yeah, here we are. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm gonna upload this video. Um, and yeah, this is episode 9, you guys. So um, I still need help. Don't get me wrong. I still need more help in how to set this up the right way, or because right now I'm going live. Um, so I don't know how to pre-record how I was doing it off my phone. I don't know how to do that and then upload the video. So I still need help. But for now, my daughter helped me to at least get the microphone working with the camera, with the mixer, and do my episode. It's live, so yeah, there's going to be probably a couple mistakes here and there, but it's okay, right? Because it's the Luna Truth. I keep it real. um, but yeah, you guys, uh, one thing that we figured out while we were connecting this is that my mixer can do, it has a couple of sounds. And I just wanted to show you guys one. I can't hear it because I still haven't figured that out. Um, but I heard it when we were testing it prior to going live. Y'all, it's pretty cool. I like this one. Hold on. I'm going to push it. I can't hear it, but I'm trying to remember. I think this is the part where the music's playing. Anyways, yeah, I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, you guys. So, all right, you guys. Well, here we are. Welcome back to the Luna Truth Healing Out Loud. This is episode 9, part 5. One thing I will say before I start, the only challenging thing that I'm looking at is that my camera is set up here on my monitor, and y'all know that I do my podcast through my journaling book because it helps me keep on track. If not, I would lose myself, I would lose you guys, and I would repeat myself or I'd forget what I have to say. So that's the only downfall about this is that I have to look up. And right now, as I'm about to read this, I'm going to look down. And so y'all are going to be looking at my hair. So, but hey, it's it's what I can do with what I know how to do right now. So the point of everything is that you guys hear my story, um, that I get my story out there in hopes that it helps somebody, that you can heal with me as well, um, that we can heal together. Um, so yeah, you guys. But welcome back, and I'm excited um, that it's working. I'm excited that God sent my 16-year-old daughter at least to get me started in the basics, you guys. So, all right, you guys. So, yeah, I'm your host, Luna. So, let's start. All right, you guys. So, Bible verse that I want to read today for this episode is Isaiah 41:10. And I'm naming this episode Why I Stayed. And so the Bible verse says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." So, in this episode, you guys, I want to share why I stayed. And let me start off by saying sometimes people say, "Why didn't you leave?" But the truth is, I wanted to. I just didn't know how. So I don't know about you, but I remember when I was stuck in that abusive situation, that's all I ever heard was people saying, "Well, why are you staying? Why aren't you leaving? Grab your kids, leave him, go." All these things. And all those words of people just only got me more frustrated and more angry because I wanted to leave, but I couldn't. So, why? Well, because my ex didn't just control my day to day life, he controlled the way I saw myself. He used everything I had already been through as a child, the trauma, the pain, the fear, and he twisted all that to manipulate me. He knew exactly what strings to pull. He made me financially dependent on him. He isolated me from my family and my friends. And little by little, he stripped away my self esteem to the point where I couldn't even recognize myself. So while I was trying to survive, while I was trying to be a good mom, through all this chaos, I was drowning. And the one person that I wanted to finally go tell what was happening to me and what my ex husband was doing to me, he was also drowning, but in alcohol, which was my father. Eventually, my dad ended up in the hospital and he never came out. He died. After my dad died, I went numb. I was shattered. But somehow, I couldn't even feel it. It was like I was floating through this dark world inside my mind. But I still had to get up each day and be a mom and be a wife. I was grieving. I was broken. I was being abused. I was being cheated on, controlled, manipulated. But I still had to feed my family. I still had to take care of the kids. I still had to clean. I had to pretend like everything was okay. Holding all this inside only built my anger stronger. I was angry at myself for allowing myself to stay in this situation. I was angry at my dad for not fighting harder with his alcohol addiction. I was angry at my mom for not being there when I needed her when I was growing up. I was angry because my childhood upbringing was affecting me and it was affecting my kids. I was just so full of anger and so alone. But this time, I couldn't let out my anger in sports. So after my dad died, something in me gave up. After he died, I got angry at God. After my dad died, I started to believe that maybe being used and abused by men was just part of my life. That maybe love just wasn't for people like me. Shortly after my dad died, we moved to Minnesota. My husband at the time and 4 kids and myself. His mother lived in Minnesota, and his mother had promised him that he would have a good job. His mother also mentioned that there was a good medical team out there. At the time, our youngest daughter had a heart condition. So when I heard her say that this state had the best medical team, well, that's where I wanted my daughter to be treated. I wanted her to get treated by the best. So I left everything behind. I left my family and I left my friends. And I went with him to go live with him and his family. I had no family and I had no friends there, but I was willing to make that sacrifice for my kids. I had hope, maybe, just maybe, his mom would be a mother to me too, that she'd protect me and she'd protect the kids from her son's abuse. But I was wrong again. Instead of being protected, my kids and I were being abused by him and by her. And yet, there I was, stuck and still staying. See, many people think that leaving an abuser is easy. And maybe it is for some of you. But as I said, it was not for me. And I didn't know back then why I couldn't leave. Now I do. I know that victims don't stay because they want to. They stay because of fear, of threats, of trauma, isolation, money, children, manipulation, and the powerful grip of control. It's a horrible cycle. And when you've never been shown your worth, when you've never seen a healthy love modeled for you, you start to believe that surviving is the same thing as living, but it's not. The truth is, I never wanted this life for me. And I especially didn't want this life for my kids. I just didn't have the courage back then to leave. And that's still something that I'm working on, still to today. I'm trying to forgive myself. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if someone is out there who is hearing my story, who is probably still in that dark place or in that cycle of abuse, I just want you to know that your past doesn't make you unworthy, that you are not weak because you fear. And just know that your story is not over. God does have a purpose for you. And I know that's easier said than done. But you're not alone. You are not powerless. And you are not beyond healing. I am here because God was with me the whole time. I am sure that if God was not with me, I would not be here today sharing my story with you guys. I would not be here today being free from abuse, from being controlled, from being manipulated. That's how I know that God was with me every step of the way, even though it didn't feel that way in that moment. But I'm here now. So I know that God was with me. And I know that if God was with me, God is there with you also. I know it's hard to understand, okay, if God is a loving God, then why isn't he rescuing us? Why is he allowing this to happen? I don't know, because those were the same questions I asked myself when I was in that situation. And maybe I won't ever know the answers to those questions that I had. But what I do know right now is I'm no longer there. And yeah, to a point, I had the courage to do that. But I also remember that even though I had a broken relationship with God, I still would tell him in the back of my head, like, help me, help me. And here I am, 45 years later, no longer, like I said, being abused or controlled or manipulated or held in some sort of chains to have to stay in a relationship that I am being hurt. And that alone feels so good, you guys. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that this episode sounds good. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't have nothing else. I really don't. I don't have nothing else. So that's all I have. Um, I I I'm gonna keep working on this. I'm gonna keep sharing my story. But I also want to let you guys know how challenging this has been for me to um, figure out the technology side of this. And I don't want to forget the human side of me just to be able to portray this perfect podcast channel. Because the truth is, at least for me, it's not being easy. And me being vulnerable and humble with you guys is me showing you the reality of how podcasting can be for certain people, hence myself. Um, some people get it quick. Some people are tech savvy, tech smart, they can catch on to things quicker. I personally can't. So you guys are seeing the real, the raw side of me, and I plan and hope to do that throughout my podcast channel. And it's not for me to gain any sort of attention or sympathy um, at all. It's just some of us have a harder time trying to figure out this podcast stuff or this technology stuff, and I am one of them. So, um, but again, thank you to everybody who has continued to support me, encouraged me. Thank you to my daughter who came today to help me at least try to figure this out. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys today. So don't forget, you guys, to go like, go subscribe, and go hit that reminder button so you don't miss an episode. And if you want to share, feel free to share as well. So, all right, you guys, thank you. Y'all have a good day.